So today we are going to start with elastic file system. When I say elastic file system, this is a kind of network file system through AWS. It's a managed file storage which can be mounted on only Linux-based operating system. For Windows, we have different feature available in AWS with the name FSX. We'll also explore that. With its elastic storage capacity, the size of elastic file system can grow and shrink automatically as you add and remove files from the EFS. You can access your Amazon EFS file system by connecting multiple compute instances, whether it is EC2 instance, ECS, or Lambda function. You can access EFS from this AWS services, compute services, I would say. Also, this is possible if you want to access your elastic file system from on-premises location. That can also be possible with the help of VPN or direct connect connections. When you create an elastic file system, it gives you two types of storage classes. One is standard storage class. Second is infrequent, or basically you can say one zone. So one zone is they would be creating a copy of your data redundant, but at the same region at one availability zone. But when you are creating a standard storage class, they will be creating copy of your data between all availability zone of that region. And to work with elastic file system, you need to open inbound port, which is 2049. It's a default port. We'll see in action when we are doing a lab. We'll see in action. Elastic file system performance is typically measured by using the dimension of latency, throughput, and input-output operations per second. For this, when you create a elastic file system, it asks you what kind of storage class you are looking for, like EFS 1 zone or EFS standard. There are other options also available, which you have seen in the S3 storage classes, that all options are available in the elastic file system also. Gradually, they are increasing the storage classes also in the elastic file system. In the performance mode, we have two options available. One is general purpose or max IO. In most of the cases, general purpose would be fine for you. Max IO is required when you are doing a lot of input output operations on it. Then we have throughput mode, which is bursting, elastic, or provision. I will show you these options once I'm going to do lab. I will show you this option. And these below are the metrics, like time since last sync, how many percentage is being used for EFS, what are the number of open connections with client connections, number of connection you want to know. That all things you can see in the Amazon Cloud Metrics for Amazon EFS. This would be a basically architecture diagram of it to understanding. You have 3 availability zone in this VPC, and in this 3 availability zone, I have mounted my EFS. And you can also mount your EFS share from on-premises server with the help of VPN and direct connection. These would be the steps I am going to perform now to understand what is elastic file system, how can I create EC2 Linux instances and mount my elastic file system on EC2 instances. I will be using this command sudo su. Then after that, I will be using this command yum install -y Amazon EFS hyphen utility utils. This utility is made by AWS to have a connection with EFS. Basically, it will set up all your things on the Linux instance once you are installing that utility. Then I would be creating EFS directory in both the instances. And later on, I will be changing the security group of your network security group to with the same security group you have in the EC2 instances. Because that way it will allow your traffic. And in the last, I have to open the port, like I said, 2049 port. You have to open it, that in your security group, you have to open your port 2049, which is NFS port. And then I will mount it using one of the command. Then what will happen is I would be writing one command. I would be writing one file or creating one file through one Linux instance, and the same file you will be able to see in another instance because you have mounted it already, right? Two Linux instances, you have mounted it using one of the command. And after that, both systems can see that file. And that's the beauty of EFS. Ultimate purpose of EFS is to sharing the data between multiple instances, but that is limited to Linux only. It is not for Windows. For Windows, I will be covering separate example, which is FSX. Now, do a lab on it. Go to AWS console and look for EFS. Manage file storage for EC2. Create a file system. It will ask you name of EFS system. But before clicking on this, let me go to customize. And in the customize, you will see multiple options. Standard, one zone, right? I've told you throughput mode, busting, enhance. Once I click on enhance, this is elastic, which is recommended according to unpredictable load. This is the best. Provisioned model, multiple options are available, but I will go with same type, like creating a quickly file system, where I have to just give a name of it, and I'm giving demo-EFS. VPC IDs, this is fine. I want to work with default. Standard storage class I want to work with, not one zone as of now. Let's go with standard storage, which is standard. Create. Once you create it, it will only take few seconds to create. Let's refresh. This is available, right? If I go inside it, demo EFS, you will see multiple sections. This is the information like performance mode, automatic backups are enabled, throughput mode is busting, encryption, lifecycle management, availability zone, standard. If I go in network, you will see mount is still creating. So AWS has created a EFS file system, but mount, it is still creating. So till the time this mount is being created, it will take 1 or 2 minutes of time. Let me create two EC2 instances, because I will mount this EFS from my EC2 instances. I'm going to create two instances. Let me create two instances, and I'm giving EFS Linux hyphen servers. How many instances you are looking for? Two instances. I'm going to work with Amazon Linux. Instance type is, I'm looking for 1 GB. Key pair, you can create your own key pair. I'm saying connect Linux, create new pair. Network settings, I'm saying default VPC, create new security group, and traffic is allowed from SSH only as of now. Let's just go with it. Later on, I will add an entry for NFS also. 8 storage, it's fine for me. 8 GB, fine for me. Let's click on launch instances. If you refer the steps now, I've done create elastic file system in AWS, and I've done create EC2 instances, EC2 Linux instances also. After this EC2 Linux instances come into the picture, I will be running these commands on them. But till the time, let me check if my mount process is done or not. Go to EFS, refresh the screen. Mount is available now. Now I told you that whatever instance, whatever security group you are using, whatever security group you are using for your EC2 instance, that security group you have to use in your elastic file system network also. You have to replace this default one. Go check your security group. This is my EFS Linux server. Where is my security group? This security group, launch wizard 26. I will go in EFS again and change it. Click on manage, remove, remove, remove. Then search for 26, launch wizard 26. In the same way, 26 here also, in all the availability zone, because I can mount from anywhere. Launch wizard 26. Right now, click on save. Done. Now go to instances and see if your instances are running. Still initialize. Yeah, one is passed. So let me rename it to Linux server 2. Cancel. Call it. This is server 2. And this is my server 1. Both are running, right? Now go to this Linux instance and go to partition. Click on load. What was the key I have taken? Connect Linux. Open this and save your private key on the desktop. I'm saying Linux _ EFS on desktop. Go to PuTTY again. SSH authorization. For authorization, I'm opening a private key file which I have stored on desktop. Linux _ EFS. Open it and take a IP of first instance, which is public IP. Click on session, enter this IP, open, accept, and say I'm logging through EC2 user. Authentication successful. In the same way, go to second instance, go to PuTTY, click on SSH, credentials, and this would be my private key. And what is the IP of this machine? 13.233.208.225. Let's open this, accept the connection. EC2-user. This is also authenticated. Now I have two machines, right? Now I have two machines. If you see my steps now, I have done this step. I have done this step. My both components are ready. Elastic file system is also ready. Create EC2 instance is also ready. Now I have to run these commands one by one. On first server, I am writing sudo su and then install these commands. This is command. Copy, install. Same way, go to second instance, sudo su and run this command. On both the machines, Amazon EFS utility is being installed. Now create a folder with the help of mkdir command, which will be common between, you can say it's a folder which is available in the EFS. I will mount this folder basically. So as of now, I'm saying mkdir EFS. In first instance, created. Same way, go to second instance and write mkdir EFS. Press enter. Right? Now the next command would be, this is done. This is yum install is done. Mkdir is also done. Add security group of EC2 instances to EFS network security group, that we have already done. Right? I have taken a security group of EC2 instance and add in network security group. Last thing pending here is I need to add a 2049 port to my security group. I will go to my security group, which is my security group. Click on security, launch wizard 26. I'll go on that and go to inbound rules, edit inbound rule, add rule, which says NFS, which works on port 2049. I'm saying open from everywhere. As of now, this is just a demo, so I'm saying open from everywhere. But in your corporate environment, you would limit it to the security groups or limit it to the way from where you will be accessing that NFS. Save rules. Done. Now if you come back, my all settings are done. One last step you have to do is mount that EFS. For this, you need to go to AWS console, go to EFS and click on attach. Once you click on attach, you will find this command. And this was the folder I was talking about, EFS. Now I'm saying copy this command and write here sudo mount, which will with this command is basically mounting it. Press enter. This is done. In the same way, go to second machine and write this command sudo mount. Done. Both the machine have mounted with EFS now. Now if I go in first machine, go to EFS folder, cd EFS and press enter. If you write anything, if you create any file from there, you will be actually writing files in EFS. And that file will be available here also. Let me take that command. And I'm saying, I want to create this file, quote1.txt. And what I'm writing in it, this quote I'm writing. While I thought that I was learning how to live, I have been learning how to die. I'm learning this quote. I'm just adding this quote. Copy, paste, press enter. This file is created. Now if I go to my second instance and write a command ls, that file will be available here. Let me go to EFS first, cd EFS, press enter, and now write the command ls, press enter. you will see the same file is available here. How you can see the data? Using cat file, cat command. So I would be writing cat quote 1.txt. Press enter. You can see the same data, right? In the same way, if I'm writing some data in second instance, which is this instance 85, if I say touch test file, enter, you will be able to see the same file in first instance also, because you have mounted it with the common drive, which is our EFS. So let's check that. ls, press enter. You are able to see both the files, right? Quote1 and test file. That's all in the EFS.